I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Hunter, and this is
the Family Showdown!
Now. Heavy games. Get over here. Let's go. Hey, guess what? Our computer's on now.
Kind of, maybe. Anyway.
We'll watch it like a hawk.
Yeah, I restarted my computer and it decided it didn't want to come back on again.
That was really weird. Like, just we're working on it, too. Like, type it.
I always restart right before we start, so that it resets everything. Anyway, hi, guys.
It's good to see you all. We weren't sure we were going to get to.
All right.
This is fun time. So, short but heavy games. Now, those things are kind of loosey-goosey. So, how did you define your short and how did you define your heavy? Oh, yes, this is very subjective.
I think we got our.
I think we
our
can
mic
agree.
might be too loud. Let's tone it down a little bit.
It's never too loud.
Anyway.
I'm just kidding.
All right. So, short, we defined as 60 minutes or less.
Okay. I agree. That's what I did.
For, I guess, the player counts we've played with. Because there's some games that go all the way from like 45 minutes to like 90 minutes, depending on the number of
I
players.
tried to avoid those. Now, if BGG lied to me, or its search thingy was a little janky when I did this, then that's...
Yeah, because I think I found a game that's not on your list because it's 60. It's 45 to... It's one of those that's 45 to 90.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. On my list that's like
that's
that?
not on your list that I found.
Oh, that could have gone over.
I went a little spelunking and dug around a little bit.
Oh.
So short is defined as 60 minutes or less-ish.
That's what we're going for.
And heavy means it's got a lot of decision making, a lot of choices, some strategy, some depth to it, that sort of thing. It's not like a filler game or something like that. So there you go.
Okay. Yeah, I tried to pick something, again, for the weight that we're talking about, something that's really kind of engaging and all that. I figure an hour, I like that hour cutoff because there's almost nothing that's going to be like half an hour long. There's
very few
you can't.
heavy games that last half an hour.
I mean, you would have to go seek those out and stuff, so...
I guess it's relative. Then you would have to pick like the heavier end of the games that take half an hour.
So... An hour is a good cutoff for we're starting to get a little bit of weight because obviously you're not going to have, like Twilight Imperium weight to a game that's an hour long. But you can find some good, chewy, meaty things that will work.
Yeah. Our video's going a little wonky, but hopefully it'll situate itself. Anyway, so what's funny is, so we did this list in 2017 in the Wayback Times.
Oh, wow. It hasn't been that long. Wow.
And... we were really loosey-goosey with that hour.
Were we?
Yes.
Well, we also hadn't played nearly as many games.
And we also ordered our games from lightest to heaviest, which I didn't do.
Oh, I did not do that.
I did mine from least favorite to favorite. That's what I did. I took all the games that fit the criteria and put from my least favorite to favorite with top 10. My 10 took 1.
I think I picked the ones that, I'm like, ranking them... Pick the ones that surprised me how much meat they had to them for the size of the game.
So you kind of did yours by weight-ish.
Ish. How it felt to me. I don't know if that's the legitimate weight, but my expectation was for this game versus like, how much weight it had. So, sort of?
I suspect we're going to have quite a bit of crossover, but we'll see.
Neutral.
We'll see. All right, we got Bim Bam Bum.
Oh, no.
We're getting lots of red lights over there, so we apologize if we're buffering
sorry,
or whatever.
Guys. This has been something else.
All right, let's do this.
Good to see y'all. Trash bag fashion.
Pick one.
Hello. Who adores elves?
Well, I play an elf in my spare
time.
time.
And I adore you.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
I win.
I'll give it to you.
I win the nerd show.
In my spare time, I play an elf. So,
Indeed.
All right, fine.
Indeed.
So who's going first?
You know what? I don't want to mess you up. You can go first.
All right, let's do it.
Number 10.
Number 10. Number 10. What's my number 10?
What is your number 10?
I don't know. Let's find out. Oh my gosh. Oh dear.
Hunter breaks the internet.
Oh dear.
What?
Oh dear.
Why do you have to play with that? No touchy.
Oh,
the technology's already bad.
Oh dear. My number 10 is It's a Wonderful World.
It's a wonderful world. Okay, yes.
So, It's a Wonderful World.
That's a good
you
game.
can insert It's a Wonderful Kingdom in here as well. It's the 2-player version of It's a Wonderful World, but Wonderful World plays just as well 2 players. Which really makes me think we need to get rid of one and the other, to be honest.
My Kingdom.
So anyway, It's a Wonderful World is an engine building game. So it's a game where you have these cards. You have to acquire cubes to fulfill the cards, kind of almost like contracts in ways. But then when you fulfill that card, it goes over into your engine column, for lack of a better word.
Right.
And now it's going to start producing things for you.
Yeah.
So as you complete more and more cards, you get more and more free resources to build more and more cards with, and it just grows and grows. And pretty soon you have this big giant column of cards that you're engine building. And some of them score you points, some of them just give you cubes. So you got to kind of mix and match what you do with that.
Yeah.
It's just a kind of straightforward engine building resource management-ish game.
Right.
The world is very heavy.
The world is very heavy.
So that's my number 10.
That should be number 1.
It's a Wonderful World. And I put the BGG weights. And
did you?
And what's interesting is...
I did not.
Well, I'm not going to dwell on those.
No, but it's kind of interesting.
I'm going to talk about it right now, because a heavy game on Board Game Geek would be a 4+.
True. Okay.
And those are your 3, 4, 5 hour monstrosity games.
Yes.
Massiveness. For an hour game, 2.5 is on the heavier end of the hour games.
Yes.
So it's interesting. So the weight, I'm not going to go on all the weights, but my weights range from like 2.25 to 3.07.
That's impressive. I didn't even think about looking.
But I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm just saying that it's interesting. Just to give you an idea, when you pare down to an hour, you're really decreasing the weight, overall weight of games.
Right.
And that may also be people considering, well, it's just an hour game, it can't be that heavy, so it gets voted a lower number than you would a higher ranking.
Right.
Anyway, that's my number.
No, that's very interesting, actually. Very cool. But yeah, you have to think about the weight for heavy for the time, for sure.
Yeah, the New Gun Grand. Now, 2.25, it isn't that heavy of a game, but for an hour game, it's actually
quite a bit.
On the higher end of stuff. Anyway.
Truth. All right, my number 10 kind of, I feel like is around the same kind of weight. You guys are probably going to be like, it's not heavy. But, I mean, it's
none of these are amazingly heavy.
No. That's not the point exactly. But this one is Century New World. I picked just the first one because if you start to add stuff to them.
New World's not the first one.
Or Spice Road. Whatevs. I put New
World's actually his last one.
That's the last one.
They're all, you could throw any of those in.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. You want to have one of them because if you start to combine them and stuff, you're going to go over that hour.
Well, yeah, you're only going to have one.
So you only can pick one of those. They're all wonderful, though.
But I would say New World is the heaviest.
It's probably the heaviest of them.
So you inadvertently made the right choice.
Listen, at its heart, the Century games, what I really like about these is it is one of those games that starts out beautifully simple. Like, okay, I'm building an engine, and I'm taking these cubes, and these cubes get stronger and turn into these cubes, blah, 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 and you have like a whole little ranking system of these, and you're taking these cards. So, I mean, like, your average turn is very basic. It's pretty easy to teach this game to people. But where the elegance in these games lies is building a very efficient engine with these things and actually being able to produce it well and faster than everybody else is the key to this. And that takes a little bit of doing, especially if you're not used to engine builder games and whatnot. And it's a lot of fun. And it's in that time frame. This is something quick. This would be a good welcoming game, I think, in a lot of ways to teaching people about leveling things up and stuff because the turns are easy to teach.
I guess maybe I'm jaded. I wouldn't consider this even remotely heavy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. There's a lot of thinky bits to it. Yeah. It's great.
That's just me.
I know. I like it. I think it's not super heavy, no. And that's why it's my number 10, too. It's about where I expect it to be. But
all right.
There you go.
Number 9.
What's my number 9? Let's find out. I never know until I push this button. It is Res Arcana.
Ooh.
So now this is not a super heavy game, but this one, if you do the drafting variant. I don't know if it's a variant or the advanced game or whatever they call it. But if you do the drafting variant, it really allows you to customize your deck. So in this game, you're going to have a deck of 8 cards. I think it's 8 cards. And you want to build a deck that synergizes with each other, that combos well off of each other. And it's really, even that drafting phase, maybe it's one of the more important parts of the game, and it's probably one of the heaviest part of the game in terms of you have a I think for 2 players, you're gonna start with the hand of 8, and you're gonna pass. I think you take 2 and pass the rest. I think it's different for 2 player. I forget how the draft works, but you see your cards. Then you do the pass and you get the other cards like, oh man, there's some over there.
Yeah, you're like
kind of remembering what you had and what combos off of each other, and that really drives, because if you build a hand of cards that doesn't synergize well, you're not going to do as well, and you're obviously not going to do as well in this game. And that's why I really don't like the basic version of this game, or whatever they call it, where you just get cards, and that's what you get, and you don't throw a fit.
It's so true.
So you just hope that it works well together, and it's interesting. And there's other choices, like you start with 2 mages, leaders, whatever you want to call them, and you have to pick one or the other that works well with your deck. So you have that. Yeah, there's some deep decisions for what really is not incredibly hard game to learn or teach, but it plays in half an hour, which is crazy
that's kind of mind-blowing
for as much as going on in this game. So that's my 9. I suspect we'll hear about it later. Res Arcana.
I don't know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about. My number 9
is Res Arcana.
No, it begins with an R though. Race for the Galaxy.
Race for the Galaxy.
This one always stuns me that it's an hour or less, because it feels like so much.
I think it's
of
half
a
hour
game.
or less. 45 minutes, maybe 45 minutes.
This one just blows my mind with that, because in the end you've got, you're building up, you're getting these planets and doing resources and stuff, where you're getting a bunch of mechanisms and tools and ships and stuff that help you produce and all this. And it just is kind of mind-blowing. You're going through and you're doing all these rounds and trying to get, you're racing everyone to get the, the X amount of tiles to end the game, to start the end game. And you want the most victory points possible with these. So you're trying to get the expensive ones, or maybe you just need to move quickly because somebody is plodding along but getting a lot of victory points and you just want to get it, There's a little bit of strategy with that. I just love the turns, because what the thinky bit is for this one is you're not doing every single action every turn. You're picking one, and you're hoping that as a backup plan, like the other person picks something that you want to be able to do too. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But the ones that you pick, you get to do like a bonus action. And if Hunter picks something that I elected to do, I get kind of like a backup action. So it's like a consolation prize, but you still get to do something. Whereas if he picks something completely different than I had, then it's almost like you lose out on that turn for that action. You don't get as many actions. So it's a really fun kind of mind game going on while you're trying to do this race with all these things. And yet it's not that it's so difficult that you couldn't teach a lot of people to play.
It's
so I think
pretty difficult with all those symbols that it has.
Yeah, let me say. Now they have the, jump drive?
Yes.
That one's easier.
But that is not near as heavy.
It's not near as heavy,
though.
Game. That's true. But if you're trying to introduce this game to somebody, I would say jump drive. But this one, minus all the icons, which are, yes, until you get used to that game, there are many and varied, and they don't make much sense. So you have to kind of memorize them. Because some planets are filled in, and some have a ring around them, and some don't. And some are a red ring, and it's like, what does this mean? It's all it does. So it's easier.
It's a little. I think roll is harder to teach, because you can say
with all the dice mitigation.
Yeah, where you can basically do things to move a dice and all the moving the dice around and things like that.
Truth.
But the cards itself you can look at a roll for the Galaxy card and kind of know what it's going to do.
Yeah.
You look at a race for the Galaxy card and it's like $ hand greater than green cube.
Yeah,
you're like, does that mean I get a green cube in my hand? What does this mean?
I'll do a complete confession. I have avoided some cards because I couldn't figure out what the icons meant and I didn't want to have to deal with it. So I'm like, I'm just not going that one.
Use it to
use it to shop
to currency.
currency.
Use it for currency.
So you
buy
discard it.
else.
Oh, look at that! It's money now.
Yeah, it's yeah. so Big Board Game Geek has race at 2.99 and roll at 2.78.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So they're in the same ballpark, but I think race is harder simply because you're constantly looking at the cheat sheet for icons. Like, what does this card do again?
Right. Ugh, I apologize for the stream, guys. We were just happy the computer's running. I don't know.
Yeah, it's dropping. It's probably buffering off and on, just looking at the numbers that are coming through right now.
Sorry, y'all.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I blame, who we have?
AT&T?
AT&T. Yeah, I blame them.
Yeah. We don't have very many choices here, unfortunately. It's still better than the other one we had.
Yeah.
Number 8.
Number 8.
Number
Number 8. Number 8.
All right.
What do you have?
I have a newish game for us. It's not a new game,
this.
but it's a newish.
Okay, I like the sound of this.
And that is Gink. I always say this wrong. Ginkgopolis.
Nice.
Ginkgopolis.
Ginkgopolis.
Gink. I always want to say Ginkopolis. But it's
I think everybody just gets lazy. We all say Ginkopolis.
Gink. Is there a pronunciation of kg, like kilograms? Ginkopolis?
It depends on the language.
You don't combine the G and the K and the G as one? I don't know. Anyway, Ginkopolis. So it's an area control game where you're basically putting different tokens on different tiles, and the tiles kind of build out, and you become this Ginkopolis thing. And what's really cool about it is you have all this. You have a player board that's nothing but special upgrades that you can get to do things more efficiently and better. And really, if I take a step back, I would think I would like this game so much more. But maybe we need to play it with more players. Maybe the area control isn't as interesting. But there is a lot going on in this game.
Yeah, it is actually surprising amount.
Yeah, to all the card drag, the tiles, and the upgrading your abilities and all this stuff. It's interesting. I really like when you can upgrade skills, and because you can pick and choose, and shortly after the game starts, you're different from everyone else because you're upgrading different things and making different choices. But for whatever reason, this one kind of just. I mean, I think I rated it an 8 or something like that. I would expect this to be like one of my favorites, just because it's got area control, it's got upgrading powers and cool stuff like that.
I think you're right. I think we need to try it with more players.
Yeah, maybe area control 2 player is not always.
I do like the way that it works with the rows,
the
and
little letters and stuff.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
That was interesting because you're kind of setting the tone for where it's going to go next. How is this going to grow? Which direction and stuff. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's got almost kind of a Quadropolis and Meadow feel about how you able to take stuff based on where they're at and stuff like that.
I like that. It was fun.
So it's a good game. I just when I heard about it and read about it, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna love this. And I was like, okay, it's good.
Yeah. It was it's one of those that I still see people chatting about it. Like, it's always been really popular, which I think is really cool.
Right.
I mean, even now, because it's several years old.
Yeah.
And it's still one of those you see people playing. I think that's really neat. I really like that.
That's it. My number 8.
Very cool.
Ginkgopolis.
What was that? All right, my number 8's much easier to pronounce. And I suspect it probably was on my first list, if I had to guess. And that is Paper Tales.
Paper Tales. We played Paper Tales since we made the list last. You got to think.
Did we?
We made this list 6 years ago.
Oh gosh.
2017 was the original list, so I'll go over the original list at the end.
Very cool. So Paper Tales, I just love this game. It is so much fun, and it's one of the few that with the expansions, I'm like, if you like to play this game a lot, you've got to get the expansions because it adds more variety in cards and makes it less of a learner's curve. This is one of those games when you get it base game. If you are taught by somebody who knows how to play the game, they will destroy you in the first game because it's all about the card combos. And once you see a few of them and you kind of go through the game, there's no way you don't notice them. Right. You know, you have that advantage. But what's neat is you have these little town things that give you some abilities and stuff. And then you're going through these certain ages and with your cards. And I love that some of them have, you get like I always call them the age spot because every year you add a spot to them. Right. But some of them give you extra victory points if they have those on them. Or some of them get rid of them or put extra ones on others. And then there's some that just, give you victory points based off of that. And there's just a lot of really neat things going on with that card game. surprisingly easy to teach, but there's a lot of variety in it. And a lot of decisions to make, a lot of cool combos you can do, a lot of different ways you can make your you have two basically rows of
troops.
Your troops, and your attacking troops are in the front row, and then you've got your like support troops in the back, and they don't really attack anything, but they bolster and give you victory points and different things. And every round you do that. It's just fun to see the different possibilities there. There's so many different cool combos with it, and it's a short and sweet game.
Yeah, it's over before you know it.
It's over so quickly that I'm trying to think. I've taught this game several times to people, and I'm pretty sure very rarely, it's only if somebody's crunched for time, do we not instantly say, hey, let's play it again when we're done, because it's one of those that's just so fast. But everyone's like, oh, wow, what are we going to do? We have all these cool combos. Oh, next time I want to try building these two buildings instead. And because you can't build all the buildings usually in the time. And like, it's just really neat.
And you don't realize till the end what combos you could have done your first playthrough, because that's how we kind of, our first play with it, we were like, we got schooled because we were like, oh, this sounds good. But then I didn't know that like someone else has already got it, got the combo that goes with it. That, you know, it just,
it makes a difference.
And you don't know what to look for and what works well together and what synergizes and what abilities help with certain things. There's a lot of, in a small amount of cards, there's a lot of different combinations and ways to play the game, which is interesting. It's a good one.
Yep. Yeah, I like it. And the attacking's different in that game. Because Corley, you were saying, oh, all the attacking sounds blah, but it's not really.
I don't know. You've played it more recently. I haven't played it.
Oh, it's been a while.
Forever. I don't remember the last time
I'll have to look back at it and get back with you on that.
It's definitely your baby.
It is my baby. I love it. But the attacking is different in that game. I don't know. It's fun. It's pretty simple. It's kind of surrounded by the scoring. Like how you score.
I want to think it's a lot like Seven Wonders, where you just kind of get points for if you win or lose.
Kind of, yeah. It's not as, it doesn't like destroy all your people and you have nothing left, and you know, it's not that kind of attacking game. Yeah. So I don't know. You might enjoy it. So
Number 7.
Number 7. What's my number 7? Let's find out.
What is your number 7?
I don't know. Let's find out.
You don't know?
Hadrian's Wall.
Oh, that's a good pick.
That's
a good pick.
This is the trick game.
It tricked you.
It tricked me.
Tricked Hunter. Hunter got bamboozled.
Yeah, so we were at Board Game Geek, I want to say 2 years ago. And our kind of tradition on Sunday is just grab light games.
Play as many as we can.
An hour or less and crank out as many as we can that are for the current year. Because Board Game Geek is in November and we do our games of the year in December. So we kind of crank out a ton of little short games so we have a bigger pool of games to choose from for our games of the year. And I'm like, okay, going through this game. Oh, Hadrian's Wall. That looks like a cool game.
You heard lots of buzz.
It only plays in an hour. Let's do it. And I pick it up, and it felt like I was carrying a brick. I'm like, what is this game? What is in this box? So we go and sit down at the table, and I open it up, and there's all it is a rule book and a bag of resources, a little stack of cards, and then two big giant pads of paper. I'm like, is this a rolling right? I'm like,
you should have seen his face, man. I should have filmed that.
Is this a rolling right?
It was glorious.
I'm like, oh man. I'm like, fine. It only takes an hour. We'll play it. Yeah. And I read it. And I'm like, as I was reading the rules, I'm like, oh, this looks interesting. It's got resource management and all sorts of fun stuff. And it's not just like you roll a die and you get a 5, so you mark off a 5. It's much more in depth. I maybe with Twilight Inscription now. Before I haven't played Twilight Inscription, but it's by far the heaviest rolling ride I've ever played. Hadrian's Wall is, and it's not. I mean, it's not that heavy.
Yeah, it does come with your own trees to build your wall with.
I know.
That's what it feels like.
Literally, the two pads of paper fill up the almost. You have just a little bit of room to spread out your resources and your little deck of cards off to the side. Otherwise, it's a block of paper. But anyway, I was pleasantly surprised. It's one of the few rolling rights. I can probably count on one hand rolling rights I actually enjoy, and it's one of them.
I can only count on one hand how many you've even played.
I've played, maybe.
Yeah, huh? Because you don't like them.
I played the clever. That's clever.
Function, clever.
Yeah, and I played the kids one of that too.
Yes.
I played the Imperial Settlers.
Okay.
I played Hadrian's Wall.
Uh-huh.
I played the Super Mega Lucky Box.
Okay.
At 5, I need one more and I can get to second hand.
That's all he's got.
I think
That's
that might be it. That might be it.
You're done.
I think that's it.
You're done here.
I played
See?
5 rolling rights. So this was a trick. I've been tricked, Betsy. It's really good.
It's the best trick you've ever had.
There's 2 rolling rights I readily play. This is one of them, and the other one is the other one. Imperial Settlers.
Yeah, that one's fun too.
Those 2.
Yahtzee.
But this one is, it's interesting because it's a lot of games you like mark off one thing and you may complete a column and you get to mark off something else. This one's like, I'll mark this off and I'll spend this resource and I'll mark this and now I can mark over here and I can do this and
it's not just
here.
that, because you have these cubes. So we just dump all the cubes into the box lid because you are wheeling and dealing with the cubes. Right. It is fantastic.
I mark this off. I get a brown cube, and I take this brown cube because I get 2 green cubes.
Yeah, 2 green cubes. So good.
It's really amazing. It feels like fun. You really get the sense of accomplishment. Whereas if I play something like Gone Shine Clever and I mark off 2 spaces, I'm like,
Yahtzee's his favorite game. Can you tell?
I'm like, but yeah, this is a good one. This is my favorite rolling right. It's not
Star Trek pinball rolling right.
It's not even close. Hadrian's Wall.
Okay.
And it's by BG&G's standards. It's the heaviest one on my list.
Interesting. That's interesting. Okay, my number 7 is Juicy Fruits.
This isn't heavy.
Yeah, it kind of is.
All right, I'm ready to hear this.
Okay, it's a quick game, but here's what's fun about Juicy Fruits. It's puzzly. It's really puzzly. And it's like the slide puzzles. You remember the ones you get as a kid, and it's got all the squares in it. It's like number 1 through 15, and you got the one spot that's open. Right. And you have to put them all in order, in numerical order. It's like that, but you're producing fruit at the same time, and you want to maximize that so you can basically fulfill all these contracts and open up more spots on your board so that you have more room to produce more. It's like an engine that helps build itself, but you're also forwarding the game by fulfilling those contracts that open things up. Right. And you also can put Tetris-y pieces in that can block stuff, but they give you cool victory points. Like, it's this weird balance of, do I want to get some cool victory points or do I want to keep building more power, And it's really fun and it's engaging and it's very puzzly. And I don't know how to describe it. It felt much heavier to me than I expected it to. Because I was thinking, slide puzzle, whatever. Slide puzzle.
I tend to agree that the board, the resource board, which is what I call it, it's trickier than you think. Because it starts out very full, and you have these little fruit symbols, and however far you move your fruits, how many resources you get. So as you complete contract, it opens up. So you want to do long, you want to slide it really far. But it's easy to paint yourself in a corner. Like you get your guy over here on the edge. Well, then there's another guy. Oh, you're blocking this one. And it's funny how quickly that. Like I need apples, but I can't move my apple right now because it's blocked. Yeah. So do I? Bite the bullet, have a done turn, and just move something a little bit to get it out of the way. Right. But is that going to lose me enough time that somebody else is going to catch me? It's really cool, puzzly. I don't know. It just had a lot more meat to it than I expected it to have. And it's one of those that's really cute, pretty looking games that you're like, this isn't going to be much. But I guarantee with the picture on the box and the name, I bet this is crazy low weight on Board Game Geek. Crazy low. Yeah, because see, that's one of the beefs I have with that is people eyeball it and are like, oh yeah, that looks like a kid's game, a 2, and you're like, dude, Bunny Kingdom. I bet there's a lot of people that misjudge that one because it's cute. Possibly. Can't see our percentage. What does that say? 2.1%. What does that say? Drop frames. Yes. Okay, that's not bad. Not too bad. So it should be buffering too more. It's chilling out finally. All right. Let's move on. Number 6. Let's see what number 6 is. I'm excited. Solo games. That's a great idea. We'll find out together. I don't do solo games. I have a couple. Yeah. Yeah, because you'll get it in. A lot of the games that are 90 minutes or ish, you can solo those a lot quicker than. That's true. That kind of broadens the scope of this list, right? If you include stuff like that. That's pretty cool. My number 6 is a solo game known as Agricola, All Creatures Big and Small. A solo game? Do tell. It feels like I'm playing solo. Does it?
And when I block that thing you crucially need, does it still feel like a Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought.
So Agricola, All Creatures Big and Small, is the 2-player version of Agricola. It focuses in more on the kind of the farming aspect of it, the building out your farm, but it does have buildings. The base game of Agricola, I would say, is not near as heavy as if you throw in all the other buildings.
That's fair.
I know you
That's
only
fair.
randomly pick a certain number, but
That's fair.
The base buildings are very simplistic and very straightforward, whereas in the expansions, the buildings are much more complicated. This one's got all Agricola. You have the resource management, but it kind of takes the feed your people aspect out of it, the baking and the creating food and all that stuff is kind of thrown out the window, and you're focusing on
food.
building pens and raising animals and having buildings that will optimize that.
I think you missed your calling as a sheep herder because you love the sheep.
Well, in Agricola, you have to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Caverna is the one that I do the
Caverna, Agricola, no, and all
Clans
of the
of
ones,
Caledonia.
Clans of Caledonia. Like every game, you're like, I shall be the master of sheep.
I
And
want to
I'm
move to New Zealand. What can I say? So this one is actually a really good 2-player game that has the feeling of Agricola. It's not near as complicated, not as near as much going on as Agricola, but it gives that same feeling. But plays really quickly,
right?
Because it's only 2 players, and I like it. I mean, I like them probably both almost equally based on what I want to get out of it, right?
That's true.
If I want
That's
a quicker 2-player version,
Mm-hmm.
this one, if I want a full-blown heavier game, Agricola obviously is much longer than an hour.
I'll be completely honest. This was my number 11.
Was it?
Yes.
Should be your number. What number did I make it? I don't remember.
You don't even know 6?
6?
Yeah, because it's really good. It's a great meaty 2-player game, and the turns on this are so tight. And it's
worker placement. You get 2 workers.
Yeah, you get 2 workers. There's a million places that you can go to do stuff, and of course, each one of them is very specific. So you want to streamline everything, and of course, your opponent is going to choose the one spot you wanted to do. So you need to have a plan B and a plan C, but you have to keep them pretty closely related because the turns are so tight before you know it, the game's over, and you're like, oh, I built a fence. It's like, it's really interesting. I really like that one.
This one's crazy. It was crazy out of print for the longest time, but they did a big box version of it. I want to say two years ago, so it's probably more readily available. I don't know if it's still in print, but it's going to be much easier to find because they did reprint that game with all it has all the expansions in the box. I had to go to Poland and France or Germany or something to get the 2 expansions.
It's interesting getting international mail to the house.
Yeah, it's the only place I could find them was overseas.
Yeah.
So I paid a pretty penny, and then like minutes later, like 5 years later, they came out with the
minutes later. Interesting. Okay. All right, my number 6 has been mentioned before, maybe because it is a superior game, and that is Res Arcana.
Res Arcana.
Oh my gosh, I love this game. It's one of those that, again, they had a cool little insert with the bits in it, so you just set that thing out. We do our cards, we get ready to go. And I love that. And it's, for a while, it was like one of our shorter go-to.
Yeah, we could crank out like 3 games of this in an hour.
It seems like it.
No, we
we've
did.
got it down to pretty good form. If we get some good combos going, we just
because it's a race for
crack
points. So if you get points quickly, you can.
Well, and with the latest expansion, some of the super, what do they call those? The big goals at the end. They have the
Places of Power.
Places of Power. What a weird name for these. Anyway, the Places of Power are like crazy victory point.
Right. But you have to build up an engine to get to that.
You have to get them, but once you get those, it's like it's over very quickly once someone gets those. And so, of course, we start just cranking out stuff to try to get those. And
Austin's correcting your Latin.
It is Res Arcana. Yes.
Race. It's race.
Race
Arcana. Race
Arcana. But yeah, everybody calls it Res Arcana. Whatever. Yeah. The expansions for this game, this is another one where I'll actually say the expansions for this one was really good. Now, the base game, really good. You'd be fine without it. But it does add some fun elements to it with the pearls and I don't remember what else, but it has like the pearls are like a wild thing. I don't know. It's pretty cool. So anywho, Yeah. I can't say much more that's already been than
I
what's
said
already been said.
everything,
You
so.
did close.
Number 5.
Number 5?
He's alive.
What's my number 5? Let's
What
find
is
out.
it?
Let's
You
find
never
out.
know. You
Let's
never
find
know.
out. Ready? We're
Never
gonna find
know.
out. We're gonna find out. Boom! Race with the Galaxy.
What?
And Roll for the Galaxy.
You have great taste.
I'm putting them both together. Race and Roll for the Galaxy.
Cheat.
They're both.
Cheat.
They're both. This one in my mind packs so much punch for as quick as this game is. Because like for 2 players, it's like 30 minutes. Not even 30 minutes to play this game.
No, it really is. And
it packs so much punch because you not only do you have to build some kind of engine to start cranking out victory points, and you have to know when to switch gears. When do I switch gears from,
That's the tricky
from
part.
building stuff
That's the
to
tricky part.
producing stuff to selling stuff? When do I switch gears on that? And the whole card angst of I have a hand of 5 cards. I'm like, what do I build? And oh my gosh, I have to discard cards to build it. What do I do? And you're sitting there looking at your cards like, okay, this one's 2 points.
Right.
But I want all 3 of these cards. How do I do this? I mean, it's just a continual like turn angst of what do I do with these cards? I want to make all of these. It
is so difficult too because you do have to you have to make that decision every turn. Am I doing the long game and I'm trying to save this up so I have enough money to buy this? But oh, look at this new card I got. Darn it!
It's crazy.
The decisions are almost painful.
Yeah, you got that like 6-point card. You're like, oh, I gotta pay 6 cards for it. But there's ways to get combos that give you cards cheaper and stuff like that.
Sure.
It's a whole thing. How long do I build? A lot of games are like this. How long do I build my engine? And when do I switch gears to getting points? And this really has that. And the game's so fast. If you're not paying attention to what other people are doing, they start cranking out points. You're like, I just lost the game.
Yeah, he just summed up what I do most games.
I just lost the game. So yeah.
How about what about rolling right for the Galaxy?
Yeah. Is there a rolling right for the Galaxy?
No. Troll was just trying something. I thought it had a chance. Had a chance.
But speaking of that, have a chance. Have a chance. I think last top 100, or maybe even the one before that, I switched and I like race more. Almost to the point where I don't even know if we need roll anymore.
I am glad I was sitting down for this. Were you guys expecting a bombshell in the middle?
It's really good, but
of
race is so easy. You just shuffle up and you're playing.
Who are you? What have you done with my husband?
Who are you? Are we dropping? Are we dropping the frames?
Are we?
Are we dropping the beats?
Dropping the beats.
So yeah, I had that epiphany when I was making this list. Like, do we really need roll anymore? Yeah. There you go. You heard it here, folks.
I'm speechless. I don't even know. Whew.
Yeah, we're red. Condition red. All right, we're gonna pause for a little bit and see if our internet chills out.
No.
But it is condition red right now.
I don't even know if they can hear us. It just said no data for a second.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Hey, we're back for a split second.
Ugh.
Yeah, our internet is being hangry. It's green right now.
Should I start beatboxing?
It's green. Go. Oh, it's green. Oh, it's red again.
Oh.
It's yellow.
Okay, it's green
again.
It's
green.
So, but I'm going to start saying about half of this. It's bad now.
Just go. They'll figure it out.
Okay. We'll figure. God, I'm so sorry. How appropriate. My number 5 is Blabble. You may or may not have heard about
Blabble. Oh.
Your favorite game that you won't even play with me. Shush, get off my lawn. In fact, you know what? I think I need to play this with my seniors again. I think they would enjoy this. So, this is a little game you may or may not have heard about, and I absolutely adore it, though. It's kind of like a riff off of the Tower of Babel or Babel, depending on where you're from, what you call it. And you make these little unique language dictionaries. And everybody's got one word somewhere in there that has a very similar sound. This is a really language geeky kind of game. But it's really short. And you're trying to construct something, and there's like 4 ingredients for building this, if I remember right. No, it's not really. Well, it would be kind of a party-esque game, but it's a little too thinky for a party game. It's much too heavy. It's very linguistic. So everybody's got their different languages, but there's going to be one word that sounds really, really, really similar. Like they have basically the same word. And the way they designed this game to me is just brilliant because the word that I have with Hunter is not going to match the word that he has with somebody else. Like everybody has a unique word that matches with somebody else at the table. Everybody's got one word. So you're going to ask in your language, you know, I want to build this here. Okay, so you're telling people that, and they have to try to guess what you're doing and figure it out. And you basically build as a team and start to deduce who's got what words, what means what. And it's a logic puzzle, a linguistic logic puzzle. And you're trying to build something. So it's kind of like UgTech, but with linguistics. It's really funky, but it is so much fun. And everybody's like thinking really hard about, oh, okay, you said something that sounded really familiar. Oh, you repeated it. Oh, okay, so I know it's got to be this or this, you know, and so you're deducing what everything is, and everybody's conversing, and it's pretty fun. We have a blast with it, but you have to pay attention. Some people I'm sure could cheat this game, but if you play it the way it's meant to be played, it's actually got a little meat to it.
Yeah, also says it's low rated on BGE.
That's because most people don't understand that game.
I guarantee they didn't play this game.
No, I guarantee they didn't play it correctly. I guarantee it.
Yeah, it's
pretty meaty.
It is really. I would say it's easy. Maybe the weight is based on how easy it is to teach, because it's super easy.
It's super easy to teach,
but it is super frustrating and it makes you angry. So
okay, no, okay, this is what
I'm speaking for myself.
Yes, you are.
So.
No,
because there's a bunch of people going, wah do da do da goo, and the other person's like, wah da ka ka ka, and you're like, what is going on right now? Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Yes, you're wrong.
Am I wrong?
Oh my gosh, this is why I play with my students.
Wah 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 wah.
Now I might pay to watch that again. That was funny. But yeah, it's a niche game, but
yeah, the niche
it's a lot of fun.
Is this big, like.
Well, you know what?
Size.
We nerds enjoyed it, so there. It's pretty good. It's pretty fun. Yes.
Okay. What am I doing? Oh yeah, we're moving
Poetry
on.
for UgTech.
We're moving on. We're moving
yeah,
on.
it's a little hefty compared to those.
Moving on to this one.
Number 4.
All right. What the heck? How did my number 4 pop up? That was weird. Look at that. My number 4.
Whoa, what's your number 4, babe?
My number 4 is Furnace.
Well, who knew? Who knew?
I didn't do a preamble of let's guess what my number 4 is because it's just popped up. I pushed the wrong button. And
Good job. Good job there, Haas.
All right. My number 4 is Furnace. So this is one of those that it's kind of like trying to think of, it's kind of like Race without as bad as symbols. It's super easy to teach this game.
For sure.
This game is very light in terms of teach. The heaviness comes from the strategy of it.
Oh my gosh.
It is, and especially if you play the advanced game. We haven't played the advanced game yet. I can imagine how much more difficult that's going to be.
Wow.
So basically it's a card drafting game. So you have a tableau of cards that are put out each round, and you have bidding chips. So basically you have a 3-2-1 or maybe a 4-3-2-1. Anyway, you have some bidding chips.
Yeah.
And you basically say, if you really want something, you put your high chip on it. And if you don't really care too much, you put your low chip on it. And you're bidding to take possession of that card. But a level of strategy, among the many levels of strategy in this game, is maybe I don't want the card. I just want the power of the card. So at the top of each of the cards is a superpower that you get, like a one-time resource that you get, or a transaction you can do, or something like that. You're like, I don't want that card, so I'm going to put my 1 on it. And then no one buys it. No one else bids for it. So you end up with a card that you didn't even want. So there's a whole strategy around of, do I want the card? How do I bid on it? If I want the action, how low do I put it? And is someone else going to put a token there? Do I wait and hope that someone puts a token there first so I can put a lower token to be sure I get it? Or do I just go out there and say, oh, someone's going to want this and bid on it? So there's that strategy. Then the cards come in your tableau.
And this is where it gets exciting.
And then you have to, it's an engine building game, but your cards fire off left to right.
Yes.
So you have to design your tableau in such a way that the resources you need for cards later on, you have to produce earlier in things. So if this card takes 2 gold to use, I have to have a way to produce that 2 gold somewhere along the chain to be able to pay for that card. Yeah. And so you have to do a combo of producing stuff to get stuff at the end. The advanced game, your tableau is set.
Oh, I don't know if I want to play that one.
And when you get a new card,
It's so hard.
you get your new card. You
have to put it at the
end, or you can put it on either end.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So that adds even a whole nother level of
yeah, because the timing is wow. I hope.
Well, you would hope you would build. You hope you would build a good engine.
Yeah,
to start with.
The opportunity of the
yeah.
I don't know. I definitely
that
feel
makes
like
the draft even more difficult
because
it's like you're going to draft this card. Okay, if I put it here, am I producing the resources before it gets there?
Gosh, can you
and if you put it on this end, am I going to be able to use the resources it's producing later in the thing?
Wow.
And then on top of all that, you have a leader, a superpower. You're a person. You're an industrialist or entrepreneur, or whatever you are. I think you have a name. Anyway, you have a dude, and they have a crazy, like, game-breaking superpower that you have to factor into all this other craziness.
Love it.
So this game, I probably can teach in less than 5 minutes, but it's crazy deep in the strategy levels of strategy in this game.
That's fair.
So there you go.
That's fair.
There you go.
Love it.
There you go.
Love it.
And it looks like Lincoln.
Actually, they were talking about it's like the City of the Big Shoulders guy.
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah.
I was looking to see if he was within reach, but
See the big shoulders?
oh, it's way up there. Nah.
Is up in
I was gonna get it and look at it, but you're right. It totally reminds me of the dude on that.
All right, what's your number?
My number 4 is Onitama. Sometimes I think people forget about this game,
I didn't even think about that.
but this is tricked up chess. And it's
another
really
one easy
quick
to teach, but
and deep. It's super easy to play. And the variability of this game is astronomical because they've got all these cards. Your only moves in the game are dependent on what cards you end up with. So you're going to have 4...
Good night, Austin.
Oh, bye, Austin. Yeah, you have 4 cards. And each one of them has a specific type of movement. And you kind of put them around the board.
You have 2. No, there's 5. There's 2 on each side, and there's 1 middle.
One in reserve?
Yeah.
Is it 5? Okay,
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I was like, it's always a set number, and there's a ton of them to choose from. This is the cool part.
Right. Especially when you have all the expansions and all the promos.
Yeah,
and all
they've got so many things to like beef this up. And you're playing basically chess. You're trying to get across and take the other player's king person. But only using these movements. So once you use your movement card, though, it goes over, and now your opponent can use that move against you. So you have some strategy there. I have this really good card. It's going to do me some good, but look at the board and see, is this something that they could use also? There's mind-blowing how much stuff is going on with that. But it's a fantastic alternative to chess. I enjoy it way more than chess. I think because of the variability of play. I love that. I think it's easier to kind of understand. It's a quick game. I mean, I know chess people that are like super good at chess and they do the speed chess and all that stuff, but that's not me. So chess takes forever for me. And then to sit down with Onitama, and it really feels like a deep thinking game too. You get the same vibe and everything from it, but it's quicker.
It's condensed.
It's condensed, and it feels streamlined in a way, you know. And I just like that because it's so different every time. Every game's going to be different.
Yep. I like the direction you're going now because that didn't even occur to me. I mean, it occurred to me a little bit, but not almost any abstract could be on this list.
A lot of them could, for sure.
But the thing is, BGG really decides how heavy a game is how hard is it to teach. That really drives a lot of how heavy the game is. Because games like chess and Go, I bet they're on Board Game Geek. I'm guessing they're like 1.5s or 1.3s or something really low.
Yeah, they have some crazy number because people weigh them. And yeah, because Go again, wow, you guys want to have a trip, like go Google Go Masters, like one of those world championships. Yeah. That is mind blowing. Yeah. They are so insane. It's so good.
And it's weird because they'll be playing the game because I don't know very much about the game. I know how the basic moves work for the most part. But it blows my mind where the board is like it still has so much open space on it. They go, yeah, I can't win. I resign. I'm like,
it's like how I don't see that.
What?
It's so true. It's really amazing.
It's just they're just on a completely different stratosphere.
Chess players are that way too. They can see so many moves ahead, right? But just the Go.
The Go does have a high weight. That's good. That's good.
Oh,
that
good
it does
to
have
see.
a high weight.
Good.
Because games like Go and chess and even stuff like Santorini and
There's a lot to Santorini, too.
all the gift games and all those games, they're super easy to teach, but the depth comes in the strategy and the learning and the knowledge. And
for sure.
I mean, to become a really good at a board game, you might be able to do that in a year. To become really good at the chess, that's a
lifetime thing, right?
I was watching. What show was I watching? I can't remember the show now, but there was a chess master. It was a lady. She wasn't a grandmaster. She was a chess master. And she said, the guy asked her, "Hey, you plan on becoming a grandmaster?" And she's like, "No, I don't have 10 years of full-time life to dedicate to become a grandmaster." Like full-time for 10 years, that is your life to become.
That's wild.
And I'm like,
that's wild.
I'm like, oh, okay.
I can't even imagine.
This is why I get beat at the World Series of board gaming, because I don't dedicate 10 years of my life to learn these games.
It just
blew my mind. I thought, oh, if you're a master, you can get there pretty quickly. It's just they're master to grandmaster is a completely different universe.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I can't remember where I saw that. I don't know where I saw that. Gosh, I'm trying to think of where I saw that video where they were talking about that.
It is basically pieces.
Oh, it was a poker show. I was watching a poker show. There was a lady that's she's a chess master and she plays poker now, and she has a YouTube. She has a YouTube channel. She goes out and goes to, like, I can't think of her name. I wish I remember her name. She goes out to, like, parks where there's chess hustlers.
Oh, that's cool. And goes and messes with them.
Goes and messes with them and stuff like that, and videos them and stuff like that.
That's beautiful.
So
that's beautiful. I love it.
She goes and messes with people. I can't think of her name, but anyway.
But
I went off on a tangent, but I love your idea. I didn't even think to do abstract games.
Number 3.
See, before you say that, it cracks me up. Yeah, checkers is listed as heavier than Onitama.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
The board game geek ratings is just it kind of gives you a general idea.
It's good. It's a baseline idea to give you a ballpark.
You look at a Euro game and it's a 2 versus a Euro game that's a 4. You're gonna know that this one's a lot heavier than this one. Yeah. But then if you get to oddball stuff, like a lot of the heavier war games are not as heavy rated as heavy.
War gamers are weighting
correct.
Those,
so it's like this is a campaign for North Africa, so it can't be a 4. And it's just a different. It depends on who's voting.
Yeah, you take that into account.
And you got things like checkers. Things like checkers that people are going out there like heavy gamers are going out there going 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 because it's checkers, right? How long does it take to learn checkers? How long does it take to get good at checkers? That's a different story, right? All right, my number 3.
Now you're getting somewhere.
Let's see what my number 3 is. I don't know. Let's see. Find out. Meeples and Monsters.
Is that an hour?
Yeah.
No, I totally missed that.
It's because it's 60 to 90.
Oh, I would have just missed it. Okay.
60 to 90. We definitely played this. Last time we played this,
in an hour.
Last time we played it, we were like, the game's over.
Yeah. We really did. We went zooming through it.
We flew through our last play of this. So this is one of the first ones. This is one of the first ones I immediately thought of.
That's a great one.
Because how quickly it plays. One of those games like, oh, it's 8 rounds. I think it's 8 rounds. It's like, we have forever.
Yeah, you think we're going to get all afternoon.
It's over. What just happened?
Wait, we can get another game in? What
just happened? And this was a good one. It's got a lot going on.
Cool.
It's a meaty game. It's kind of
Lords of Waterdeep vibe to it.
Plus. So basically, your adventurers, and you have this town that you're kind of doing your base operations. You're protecting it from monsters that are attacking, and you start out with a few buildings where you can go out and get stuff, and you can level up your guys and things. But you can build buildings, and the town becomes more robust. You have more choices. You upgrade your meeples. It's a bag pool building game, bag building, whatever you want to call it. You're basically putting your meeples in a bag and you're drawing them out, and those are the meeples you have to do actions for, and different actions require different types of meeples. And you have your usual mage, warrior,
all the generic
ranger, shaman, all the different generic stuff.
But it works so well.
Just like Lords of Waterdeep, you have the similar thing in Lords of Waterdeep. And eventually you build up, and at the end, kind of like in Core Worlds, it reminds us of the Core Worlds, you have these like super monsters, the big baddies that you can fight at the end. Like towards the end of the game, you can start fighting those, and they give you crazy victory points.
It's great, yeah.
And you can build up all your characters, all your base level characters. You can level them up, and you can give them superpowers. So, when
fun.
you defeat some of the monsters, they give you
you
points,
cool
but some of them give you slide them under your character, and you end up with all these superpowers, like kind of like a column of superpowers under each of the classes, which is it's a really great game. It's one of my favorites from, I guess it was 2021 is when it came out, I want to say. Yeah,
it was fairly recently, yeah. So good times had by all. That's
Meatballs
a good pick.
and monsters.
I like that. It's such a good pick. My number 3 may have been on the original list. I don't remember.
I remember
because we've had it for a long time. Yeah, you looked at all that. But Targi is still a good go-to for this. I love this. It's a little tiny box. It plays really quickly. It's great 2-player, and you get this fun, meaty little grid that you're picking, to where your little guys intersect, and you get stuff, and you're doing like a little set collection thing off to the side. You're building up. I love the way this game works. It's feisty. It's fun. I'm very surprised that the expansion to this was cool. I was very don't mess with this game. It's perfect.
Yeah, but the expansion took forever to come out in the U.S. But it had rave reviews when it did come out in Europe.
Yeah, so we were like, all right, fine, we'll get it. But the base game, oh my gosh, it's amazing. And you can crack that out in no time. I mean, the only way you could possibly take this over an hour is if you're sitting there and really overthinking every single turn.
Which is what I do. No,
sometimes,
really.
like last round.
Last round. My last round of any game takes as long as the rest of the game. I'm exaggerating, but Targi, that's a good one. A lot of those 2-player, those Cosmos 2-player games, a lot of those could fit in this bucket.
I don't know. They have some meat to them.
I don't know. Probably not. Maybe I'm making stuff up.
Yeah, I don't know. That one feels like it's got something to it.
Number 2.
Oh, we got to get to the exciting stuff. Number 2.
Now we're getting exciting stuff?
There we go.
Okay, what is it?
Istanbul.
No, it's Constantinople.
Istanbul.
Oh, it's Constantinople.
So this is probably the base game. We normally play the Grand Bazaar, throw everything,
oh my gosh,
throw the kitchen sink in.
But
that one might take over an hour because I think if I recall correctly, you increase the number of victory points you have to get. But you get victory points easier in that game with the expansion, so it kind of balances out. But for us,
base game is definitely under an hour.
I think both are under an hour for us. The base game, when we were playing it regularly, we probably could get that done in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, we were playing it pretty fast.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. Oh my gosh, this is such a great game.
So Istanbul is it's a race for victory points, I guess. They're you collecting these little gems, and whoever gets the required gems for the number of players first,
rubies,
wins the game. And it's you have like the world is your oyster.
You can go to the post office.
You can deliver letters. You can go and upgrade your little wheelbarrow that you carry resources in. You can go and gamble. You can just buy gems. There's always different ways.
Send your nefarious cousin to go do deeds for you.
Do deeds and throw people in jail.
Throw them back in jail.
Yeah,
I love the relative thing. That's hilarious.
And you get superpowers. You can upgrade. You can upgrade your little wheelbarrow, your resource carrier thing. You can upgrade. You get superpowers to collect things, be more efficient with resources. There's all those. It's almost an engine building that way as time goes by. The first few gems you got, it's going to take a little bit, but then
you start really cranking them out, right?
And the game
That's true.
zooms to the end.
Well, and each game is going to be different because of the way you place the tiles out, right. Unless you do the beginner's recommended set every time or something like that. So the tiles for all the different little places you put together when you set up the game. And it's funny how that really can affect how quickly the game goes through, too. Because there's a couple times where you had like a combo where it was like the gambling place.
Yeah, they changed that in the expansions where you can't
do that.
You can't put those
because in the base game, he was like, I'm going to go gamble.
Gambling and buy gems.
Money. I'm going to go buy. I'm going to
buy gems. Buy gems.
Ridiculous.
Eventually it becomes inefficient because they're so expensive because
they do get really expensive.
And then you start doing something else.
But it's so fun where it's like, get all the fruits and then you go and sell the fruits and they happen to be close that game or something. Right. It's so much fun. And I love that you can go, there's so many different ways you can go get these rubies. And sometimes it's just fun to just, I'm going to try doing this. And that way I can also avoid going over to an area where I have to pay you to go in your spot or something, It's fantastic. So much fun. Good pick.
All right, what you got?
My number 2, man, I have a lot of overlap with you and I didn't realize it. Hadrian's Wall.
Yeah, I figured this would be number 1 or 2.
Oh, man. For all the things that Hunter said and then some, this is one of those things where I never would have guessed that we have such a nice, meaty game. And it's just fun because this is a different experience each time, because sometimes I'll focus more on just straight up the wall and having to worry about, I don't want to worry about having any detriments to have to deal with each turn, because at the end, the enemy attacks and will your wall withstand it? It kind of reminds me of Galaxy Quest. You roll that dice, right? And see which side's getting hit. Did I build up that side well enough?
And then Galaxy Trucker.
Did I say? Oh, yeah, Galaxy Trucker. What did I say?
Your favorite movie?
Galaxy Quest. That's hilarious. Well, that's kind of chaotic too. But yeah, I really love how it does that. So sometimes I'll just focus on that. While other times I'm like, you know what? I want all the temples built.
Right.
And I want all of the stuff to go with that. And you can do so many different things with this. And I love the fact that it's not just, like you said, checking boxes, but you have physical cubes, and you can store those up and start buying more expensive things, and you're trading them out with this and that and getting free things every time you unlock something new. And
yeah, it's one of those games where you want to extend your turn out as far as you possibly can.
And you've got a great turn coming when you've got like this whole mess of cubes right there, and your income comes in and you're just adding to it, and it's like, yes, I'm going to do all the things. It's so much fun. Really love that game. So I won't belabor the point, but Hadrian's Wall, good stuff.
All right, let's move on to the big one, the number one thing. This one.
Number 1.
My number one is the game that you missed, because the time listed on Board Game Geek is 45 minutes to 75 minutes.
Oh no! What did I like?
And this is the second heaviest game on my list.
Okay.
It's our go-to hour or less Euro game. Which one is that? Hour or less Euro game. Our go-to.
Right now?
Yes. It has 2 rondelles.
No!
Crown of Amara.
Does it really?
Yes.
Okay, that's why though. The two of us would definitely play that in under an hour. I didn't even think about that.
And I bet you can get 3 players in under an hour, but if you go to 4 players, I bet it's going to be more than an hour.
That's fair. Oh my goodness. Yeah, see, I was wondering about Lorenzo.
Lorenzo is an hour. It's probably it's an hour-ish.
It's a 90 minute.
The reason I didn't think to put it on the list, because the way we play it with the expansion and the leaders and stuff like that, it definitely takes longer than an hour for us to play Lorenzo. But it's really close.
Yeah. Oh,
Crown of Amara. So
this is such a good game.
This was for a while. We just kept pulling this off the shelf.
Oh my gosh!
We played this on the BGG cruise way back in the day.
Fell in love with it,
and we loved it, but we couldn't find it, and then we.
It wasn't out yet, I don't think, or something.
It was in print for 10 seconds, and then in Europe it was in print for 10 seconds, and then it went away, and then it went in print again in Europe, and I missed it, and then it came out in the US, and I missed it. And then I wandered randomly into
it was randomly in a
local game store, and I'm like, is that Crown of Amara? And I was like knocking kids out of the way. And
they were flying over the shelves now.
I'm like, no!
Which is funny, because literally no one apparently knew it was there.
Because it was like in a corner,
collecting
tucked
dust,
away,
right? Like just
behind some stuff. I'm like, I kind of like spied the print out of the corner of my eye as I'm walking by. I'm like, and I just started no. But Crown of Amara, it's an awesome. It's pretty generic for a Euro, but it does have it's like a resource management engine building, but it has a few things interesting. It has 2 rondelles. One rondelle is your resource production. The other rondelle is your spending your resources, and you have a hand of cards. You're going to play out cards. You're going to plan out it's almost like what's it called? Program movement in a way. You're going to put down 3 cards, and those are you're going to be your turn. You're going to play those cards out, and you're going to collect resources. You have a choice to move the guy on this side or the guy on the other side. And some give you resources, but they all give you some kind of movement. And you can build up your engine over here. You can build like little houses, or I don't know what they're called, the production facility things on this side.
So we were just always call them the little huts.
So basically, you land on a spot. Normally, you get like 1 wood, but if you build a hut there, now you're getting 2 wood and 3 wood, and you're building up your engine over here to spend over here. But the thing is, if you spend too long building up here, things over here get more expensive as people do it. The first time you build something with brick, it's 3. The next turn is 4, and then it's 5, and then it's 6, and it's like...
So you want to build huts and get more resources.
At some point, it becomes so inefficient to do that action that you move on to something else. So it's like it's a balancing act, and in the same vein of balancing, you have a population and you have victory points, and, and your score is gonna be the lower of the two. So you have to do things,
that's what's tricky.
You have to do things that move those up kind of together, or you can run ahead with one and maybe hopefully catch up with the other one. Or
it's such a gamble though.
It's interesting. It's a really solid. If you like mid-weight Euro games, this is one of the best ones out there
for sure.
Crown of Amart.
Woo!
And it's the second heaviest game on my list behind Hadrian's Wall. So
what's the weight of that one?
3.07.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, interesting. My number one, again, you mentioned, this is so funny. Did you copy my list?
No.
Furnace. This one was my biggest surprise.
This is another random one that we played at Board Game Geek.
And I was like, the theme. I'm always like, dirty, yucky furnace, coal, whatever. It sounds gritty and dirty, and I'm like, whatever, this is going to be a boring game. A, it wasn't. B, it's an amazing game. It's got a lot of meat to it. And C, it was quick. And all of these things, that kind of blew my mind wide open.
Yeah, we were really surprised.
Because this feels like it should be like a 90-minute game. It really does. Or more. One of my favorite things about this game, and I absolutely adore it, is the bidding. I love the bidding in this because it's one of the few games we have. You're not losing anything to bid. You have bidding chips. You're using them every turn. Right. It's not your money that you saved up that happen to also be victory points.
Or you bid 8 for something and the second place bid was 2 and you lost all this money.
And you lose all, you lost 6. No, you have set chips, and I love that. And like you said, the other thing that's really unique and fun about this is, okay, so I didn't win this thing, but I get to have the ability.
Yeah, we call it a consolation prize.
We love the consolation prizes in this game. That is so cool. Everything you do has a purpose in this game, and it's just magnificent. And I love, and again, apparently we haven't played the advanced game. I don't know that I'm interested in it. I love fiddling with my engine and tweaking it and making it better and doing. You don't think you'd like to put in the cards at the ends? I would just suck at it, but I mean, it would probably be fun. But I feel like I get I get a handful of cards, and then my engine starts to click. So it's like if I had to set the format of my engine right off the bat, I have a feeling it would be horrible. But again, I need to get better at playing it, I think, too. If we play it more and it got better, then maybe I'd try it. But it's funny right now, funny you mention how I'm surprised, because we were Sunday, we just wandered around in the hot games area at Board Game Geek, and it was like sitting there on the table and no one was playing it. I'm like, I looked it up on Board Game Geek. Wow, that plays really fast. Everybody was talking about this game, so we sat down. I taught it to her. Like, I read the rules and taught it in like less than 10 minutes, and we played it. I think we played it again immediately. We did. We played it twice, first time we played it without the powers, because they tell you your first game you have to use the powers, and then we played it with the powers after that. I was like, this is glorious. And then I bought it. It's funny, Troll, you're saying playing Furnace leads to CO2. Yeah, kind of. I like that, and I like CO2, which is another one of those games where it's like, that topic... No, it shouldn't be that interesting, but it's fun. All right. Good times. That was good. So honorable mentions. I got some honorable mentions. Yes, you do. I have one. So again, remember, I order these from games I like to like the least the most. So these are ones that are below my 10, basically, in terms of how much I like them. So there's Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition. Oh, okay. For a second, I thought you were saying Terraforming Mars. No, I'm like, no. Ares Expedition, and then Raw, which is almost your abstract kind of thing, because that one's got a lot of depth to it. That's a good one. Artifacts Inc. See, that one got X because there's an hour, but I don't think we could play that in an hour. No, it's too long. Because I saw that on the list too, and I'm like, I think it starts at an hour. So that's why I got taken off my list. And Tyrants of the Underdark for the same reason. It says it's an hour, but it's definitely more than an hour. That was more than an hour. And Bruges, Hamburg/Bruges, that one on there. That one's probably more than an hour. And Galaxy Trucker was on there as well, and that one's probably more than an hour. Yeah. At least how we play them anyway. Yeah, I agree. You want to mention before I jump into the previous list? The one honorable mention I have is when you guys were talking about solos, I was like, Coffee Roaster. Absolutely. I love that game, and it's got so much going on in it. I love that one. So I would add that for my game. All right, so this is our previous list we made in 2017. So this one we ordered from lightest to heaviest. Okay. And
there's a lot of games on here that's longer than an hour because I think we strictly went with what Board Game Geek said and just called it good.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
if it said 60 minutes of Board Game Geek,
that's what we went with.
It was in.
Fair.
So your list was Agricola, All Creatures Big and Small.
Okay.
Istanbul.
Nice.
Fields of Green.
Yep.
Imperial Settlers.
Okay.
Five Tribes.
Mm-hmm.
Yamatai.
Ooh.
Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
Voyages of Marco Polo, which is not even close to an hour.
Nope.
Lorenzo Il Magnifico. And Le Havre.
No, heck no.
But Le Havre, 2 players.
2 players does.
The short version
does go.
You can probably play it in an hour.
I danced on that line.
And my list last time was Viceroy, Mage Wars Academy, Magic the Gathering, Euphoria, the D&D games, so like Ravenloft and Legend of Drizzt and Temple Elemental Evil, those kind of games.
Right.
Fields of Green, which made both our lists.
Yep.
Roll/Race for the Galaxy.
Yep.
Elysium.
I had that on my short list, actually.
Elysium.
Mm-hmm.
And Pandemic Legacy. One game.
Okay, one game of it. That feels cheaty.
Or any of the pandemic games. I think I said or any pandemic game.
Probably.
And Bruges was my number 1, but I don't think you can play Bruges. We maybe play it an hour, but it's
that's only 2 player.
You're not gonna get a 3 or 4 player game done.
No,
in an hour, Bruges.
No, I agree. So
there you go.
Okay.
That is that.
So yeah, I mean, what do you consider a short game? What do you consider a heavy game? And where do the two meet? That's where the sweet spot is for these short but heavy games.
I would do long but heavy, but then that'd be my top 10.
Basically, you're not wrong.
Long but heavy would be my. Just look at my. top
you know what we should do is the long games but light.
Long but light.
Those are the please kill me now games. I don't want to play this anymore.
Long but light. Oof.
What would take a long time to play, but it was crazy light?
Oof.
Tenzi, whatever that Tenzi dice is.
That game lasts like 2 minutes.
Unless you cannot roll those dice.
Oh, that's true. Phase 10? Phase 10 takes
Phase
hours.
10. Phase 10 should be number 1.
That takes hours.
Unless you have a runaway leader that just keeps winning.
But even then, they could get stuck and be stuck at their level for hour and a half.
That's what I'm saying. As long as the person who's winning
shoots and ladders.
Oh my god.
The game that never ends. You know, so Nessa's old enough to tell her to if she's watching, she won't be horrified by this. When we used to play a game, it was like Shoots and Ladders. It was a Snakes and Ladders or something game.
Yeah, Shoots and Ladders.
I would literally, when she wasn't looking, make the spinner move. Like she rolled a 3 and it was going to send her to the bottom. I would. Because
you're like, I'm done with this. I
would bump it to whatever it needed to. Because that game literally can last forever.
Oh yeah.
Literally forever.
I taught both kids how to count to 100 playing that game. And part of what worked so well with that is because we all took turns taking that big slide down and going back up again. Oh, we take the slide again. And like you said.
No, that's when you bump the spinner. You're like, what'd you roll? Oh,
Munchkin.
You rolled a 4. You rolled a 4. It wasn't a 3. What are you talking about? A 4. That was a 3. It's on the line.
Which is why she doesn't trust you now. So I'm just saying.
But that game, she loved that game. But
they both did. They both loved that game.
That game would last.
It would last
it would last hour plus for a flick a spinner game.
Your favorite game.
Oh.
But yeah, Munchkin, that's another long but light one.
That one's long because every time you're winning, someone kills you, and then someone else is winning, and they get beat up, and the next person's winning, and it goes and goes and goes until everyone's ends up with no attacking cards left, and then someone wins.
Yep, that's how that game goes every time. Well, that obnoxious wizard game we had was the same way. It seemed like
Epic Spell Wars.
Because
everyone would win one game, and then who would win the game at that second? So we decided.
What are the odds, right?
But we decided no, it happened every time because
I know. What are the odds? So it seemed like
anyone that was going to win, you would just knock them out.
Yeah.
And then it ends up whoever hasn't won yet ends up winning.
Right.
So we decided just play one round.
Right.
It's effectively the same thing.
Flux can go long too. It's one of those that'll last you 5 minutes or. It's like
I got the exact cards to win. Oh wait,
Uno
everything changed.
Uno,
you cheated Uno too.
Oh, you cheated Uno. I was like, I do not. The only game I cheat at, and I've told you, is Clue. But yeah, and then War. Did you play War as a kid?
The way you do War is you have to when you win the battle, you should if you win one of those battle things, those cards get set aside.
No, that's not how you play.
Yes.
That's why.
Otherwise it's all day.
That's right. It's War.
No.
War takes a long time. Rightfully so. That one should take forever, right?
Yeah. Right.
Oh man. Bingo. That's true.
Bingo has a finite number of turns, though, so that's going to eventually end. It can't last forever.
Unless people aren't paying attention.
Well, there's that, too.
You guys pick some goodies.
All right.
Well, that was lovely, peeps.
All right, folks. Next, 1 week from tonight, whatever that date that is, the 2nd of April, we will be doing a variety show. It's 2nd of April, right?
I think it's like the 4th.
The 4th of April. Yeah, that's right. The 4th of April.
Uncle Wiggly, for sure.
So,
yes.
1 week from now, the 4th of April, apparently, we're going to do a variety show. And if you don't know, out on our Board Game Geek Guild, we ask for suggestions for new segments.
Have delivered so far.
And there is a lot of goodies. So what we're going to do, the game plan is to test run
a bunch of them.
A couple each week. Each time we do a variety show, we do a couple. And then, like, maybe a couple months from now, after we've done, like, 4 or 5 shows, we'll vote for which one's your favorites.
Ooh.
And they'll become permanent additions to our show.
Yes.
So that's kind of the game plan for that. So it's all up to you guys. You guys are giving us suggestions. We're going to take your suggestions, and then you're going to vote on them after you see them in action.
I like it.
After we completely mess up your idea.
Corlu, yes, there are grocery stores in the South. Well, I don't know if they're around anymore, because I know the Piggly Wigglies around us are all closed.
There's still some, but they're very local, and they're probably not franchises. They're probably owned independently.
Now, because I think they all shut down. But they were pigs, and Uncle Wiggly is a bunny. And no, they're not related.
Why is what?
She was asking if
Piggly
Wiggly, Uncle Wiggly, Piggly Wiggly.
No.
I get it.
No.
She's not from around here.
Where I come from,
Weirdo.
back in the day, the back in the day store,
You crazy?
was either Safeway.
They still exist.
Or Diamonds.
Oh, Diamonds. That's a very local thing.
Yeah. So those were
Safeways. There's still Safeways around.
Are there?
Yeah, just not around here. It's like I know there's some like up north and stuff. Yeah. So there you go.
But Kroger and HEB rule.
Oh yeah,
Kroger,
yeah. Austin's already HEB.
Kroger and HEB rule Texas. So
for sure.
It's not even.
Yeah. See,
there's a Safeway in Canada.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Safeway became home. Interesting, Neutral. I didn't realize that. Huh. Interesting. Learn something every day.
Safeway. Yeah.
All right, peoples. We're learning all sorts of new things.
We're out here. So next week, variety show with
at
least one new segment. We're going to try to put in a couple.
I'm so excited. I love the stuff you guys are putting in there.
Rebecca was like, really? We got to do that. 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 I'm like, we can't do them all.
Yes, we can.
Well, I guess over time we could do them all.
We can.
All right, folks. We're out of here. We'll see you in the lobby and Safeway.
What?
Or Piggly Wiggly.
What?
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Click subscribe to join our wonderful viewer community.
Want to be notified when we upload a new video or go live? Click on the little bell below.